Hello everyone, my name is Derek. This is the Bourbon Table. And today we have got a very recent edition Sagamore 10. Welcome back to the channel where we deep dive into rye whiskeys, bourbons, and those epic hunts that keep us chasing the next great pour. Today we're shaking things up with a bottle that's not just a sip, it's a resurrection of Maryland's storied rye. Maryland's storied rye, as I said, is a tradition that traces back to colonial America when East Coast distillers crafted sweeter corn-tempered ryes that could rival the spicy Mahanganila styles from out west and even in Pennsylvania. Enter this Sagamore 10. It is a reserve series, 10 years in the making. It's an old straight rye whiskey. Baltimore's bold revivalists distilled grain to glass at their waterfront distillery. That distillery opened up in 2017, and it was founded by Under Armour's Kevin Plank. And it was founded in 2015 to honor Maryland's nearly forgotten whiskey roots. This is a fully Sagamore crafted and blended in their high-rye mash bill of 95% rye and 5% malted barley, with a low-rye 51% rye, 45% corn, 4% malted barley, then aged a full decade in new charred American oak barrels before proofed with limestone filtered spring water from the I couldn't believe this when I read it. It's actually historic, the 1909 Spring House at Sagamore Farms. Bottled at a spicy 110.8 proof, 55.4 ABV. This limited edition release dropped in this month, into September of 2025, as Sagamore's oldest expression yet. The 9-year was fantastic. And so let's see what the 10-year does. It is said to pack aromas of peach crumble, roasted nuts, and molasses cookie, unfolding into a palette of crème brûlée, floral honey, and lingering white pepper that has a kick that balances rich dessert notes with classic rye spice. From a distillery that's racking up over 200 international awards from their ryes, including Best Rye Whiskey in 2023 at John Barleycorn Awards, now majority owned by Italy's Illva Sarronno since 2023. This hand-bottled gem proves the East Coast isn't just playing catch-up, it's redefining rye with local grains from Maryland farmers. So stick around. Let's see if this is a well-balanced beast that doesn't convince you that the next big hunt should be for this baby. Nothing will. Let's pour and explore. You won't want to miss if it lives up to the hype. I have poured this. It's been sitting maybe 10 minutes and breathing. And so let's see what's going on. What's this? I've got a sticky note. I don't know how that got there. All right, let's see how this sucker performs. We'll go for the nose. So after even sitting for 10 minutes, I still get a little bit of ethanol. Ooh, I get a bunch of oak. Let me give it a swirl, give it a second. We'll go for a second sniff. Getting some sweetness, some caramel. What is that? Man, this has got some nice oak on it. Not surprising. 10 years for a rye is a long time. A little bit of citrus. All right, let's go for a taste. Delicious oak. I say some sweetness, maybe some fruit. I'm not sure yet. Let's see. Definitely heat, not right away, but almost right after right away. Man, that's some delicious oak. A hint of sweetness. Again, I just opened this 10 minutes ago. I think there's some sweetness trying to poke out here. So I opened my palate up with just 2 sips of Jack Daniel's No. 7. That's kind of my baseline. But if you want to get the full effect of the flavor, you want to do that baseline. You know, it's a drink that you know that you know, and it's one that you can kind of bounce your whatever you're sipping off of. Man, I mean, look, the star of the show is the oak, no question about it. It's 10 years. It's just delicious oak. There is some sweetness trying to poke its way out, but it is just delicious oak. So if you're looking for something on the sweeter end or super sweet, this isn't it. But from an oak profile, this is it. Now, if you don't like oak, I would say the 10-year is not the way to go. There's other beverages and bourbons and so on that that have the sweetness, the caramel explosion. Check out my last video where we did the barrel batch 37, which was caramel bomb. It did not have the oak that this has. All right, so there you have it. Sagamore 10 oak. They're oakiest. If you like oak, this is right up your alley. It's a well-done oak. If you don't like oak, may want to pass this one by. I prefer a sweeter bourbon, a sweeter rye, but every now and then this goes the other direction and I will enjoy this bottle. All right, now we're going to do a comparison of the 10-year Sagamore that just came out with the Sagamore Double Oak, which is a combination of Indiana MGP distillate and Sagamore distillate. And we're going to compare it against the 9-year, which came out last year, which is the MGP distillate. So you got the 9, the 10, and the Double Oak. We just did the 10, so we know what that is. It is oak. And now that this has been sitting out, I'm getting a little, maybe a little red fruit. Yeah, a little red fruit in the background, maybe some citrus. Now let's go with the Sagamore Double Oak. See how it compares. A lot less oak. What is the age on this Double Oak? Yeah, this is aged 4 to 5 years in new char barrels, and then into toasted wave stave barrels for an additional 18 months. So, I mean, it looks very viscous on here, but when I compare it to the 10-year, yeah, it's almost, I get almost no oak. After I should have started with the Double Oak and then gone to the 9-year and then the 10-year. So let's actually take it in that direction. Very little oak on the nose comparing. This one is more caramel, a little bit more viscous. And the Double Oak is also much lower proof, 96.6 proof, and it tastes lower. There's not as much of an oak hit right to the chops. The 10-year is not the Double Oak. Yeah. So I taste a little bit of the oak in there. I taste a little bit of the sweetness. This is more of an everyday sipper. This is more of something you have at dinner. This is much more powerful. This is much more oak. This is where you want to be if you want the oak. And you can get oak in both places, but this is 98.7% oak, whereas this one is probably 87% oak, a little bit of sweetness in there. Let's see how the 9-year, I'm predicting that the 9-year is going to be more oak than the Double Oak, but less oak than the 10-year. Let's see. Let's see on the nose first. It is more oak than the Double Oak. And it is less oak than the 10-year. And not surprising. This is a whole nother year. All right, let's see what it tastes like. The 9-year is 112.6% proof, so more proof than the 10-year. Interesting. In terms of color, Both bottles look nearly identical, actually, in terms of color. This one is 9 years, a year younger, and it's basically 2 proof points higher. This is a year older, proof down a little bit. The 9-year is very oaky, a little bit sweeter than the 10-year, a little bit more oak, a little bit less sweet. That's predictable. The longer it stays in the barrel, the more oak traits it's going to pull from the wood. And that oak over time, potentially, and it depends on the distiller and how they distill it and so on, but that oak comes through more so typically every year that it's left in the barrel, and it actually kind of makes sense that they proofed it down a little bit more, or you might even get, more oak to the face, more oak to the grill. It's like powerful oak. Let me go back here and just double check it against the 9-year. Interesting. So now I'm getting a little bit citrus. This has been sitting out for now 20 minutes, something like that. Bottle's been open for that long. And I'm getting used to the proof. So here's something else you got to contend with when you're sampling or sipping alcohol in general, but certainly bourbon, is that the more sips you take, the more the alcohol impact goes away, leaving you with just flavor. So now I'm getting a little bit more sweetness on this, the Sagamore 10. Man, I'm still smelling that oak. All right, that about wraps it up for the Sagamore 10-year. The oak bomb stacks up predictably with the 9-year. Both of them are delicious. This is a little bit more oak. The Sagamore double oak is delicious, has always been, and will continue to be, I'm sure. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor, leave a comment below. Let me know if you prefer oak more so than sweetness. My profile, I prefer a little more sweetness, but I do like this oak as a change of pace now and again. It really has a really nice, beautiful kind of oaky punch to it that I can turn to when I'm not in the mood for something sweet. So let me know if you like the oak, if you like the sweet. What is your profile? Also, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thank you for watching. My name is Derek. This is the Bourbon Table. I'll see you on the next one.
Wow.